The clock on the mantel ticked like a heartbeat in the silence, each second stretching into eternity as Justin's bedroom door clicked shut upstairs. I sat there on the edge of the couch, nursing a lukewarm beer, my pulse hammering in my ears because Nicholas, Justin's dad, for Christ's sake, hadn't moved an inch from the armchair across from me. His eyes, those deep-set blues that always seemed to see right through the bullshit, locked onto mine, and in that split second, the air thickened with something unspoken, something that made my skin prickle like I just stepped into a storm. "What the hell are you waiting for, Ethan?" he said, his voice low and gravelly, laced with that Midwestern drawl that could charm the paint off a barn. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, the sleeves of his faded flannel rolled up to reveal forearms corded with years of honest labor, fixing engines, building decks, holding a family together after the divorce that shattered it all. "You've been eyeing me all night like I'm the last slice of pie at the diner. Say it, or I will." I choked on my beer, the foam burning my throat as the words hung there, naked and terrifying. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not in the quiet suburbs of Elmwood, Ohio, where Friday nights meant high school football reruns and picket fences hiding every dirty secret. But Nicholas Harlan had just cracked open the door to his soul, and I was tumbling through it, heart first. That night started like any other in the endless blur of our senior year. Justin's beat-up Ford pickup rattling down Elmwood's leaf-strewn streets, country radio blasting some twangy ballad about lost love while we nursed warm cans of Busch from the cooler in the bed. Justin, with his easy grin and that mop of sandy hair that never quite stayed tamed, was my anchor in the chaos of small-town high school. We'd been thick as thieves since kindergarten. Him, the golden boy quarterback. Me, the quiet artist kid sketching murals in the margins of my notebooks. "Dude, my old man's making ribs tonight," he'd said, slapping my shoulder as we pulled into the driveway of the Harlan house. A squat ranch style with peeling blue paint and a basketball hoop still bent from Justin's glory days. "Mom's out with her book club or whatever, so it's just us and Dad. Beer fridge is stocked." Nicholas was in the garage when we stumbled in, grease-streaked hands wrenching a socket from the underbelly of a '72 Chevy he'd been nursing back to life for months. 48. He looked like he'd stepped out of a Levi's ad, broad shoulders filling out a white tank top, jeans slung low on hips that spoke of a life spent under hoods and on ladders. "Boys," he greeted, wiping his brow with a rag that smelled like oil and sweat, his smile crinkling the corners of eyes that held too many ghosts. The divorce from Justin's mom 3 years back had hit him hard. Whispers around town said he'd let the bottle take the wheel for a while, but he'd clawed his way back, coaching Little League and volunteering at the VFW like it was penance. We grilled the ribs out back under strings of Edison bulbs, the air thick with hickory smoke and laughter that came easy. Stories of that time Justin fumbled the homecoming pass, or how I'd once painted the principal's Prius neon pink as a protest against dress code bullshit. Nicholas matched us beer for beer, his laugh booming like thunder rolling in from Lake Erie, but there was a shadow in it, a weariness that tugged at me every time our eyes met across the Weber. I'd always noticed him, in that forbidden way you don't admit even to yourself, the way his calloused fingers wrapped around the bottleneck, or how his gaze lingered a beat too long when I talked about my latest sketch, some abstract swirl of colors that mirrored the storm in my chest. By 10, the fire pit was dying to embers, and Justin was yawning, his eyelids heavy from the double shift at the auto parts store. "I'm crashing, man," he slurred, clapping me on the back as he hauled himself up. "Guest room's yours. Don't let Dad bore you with his war stories." Nicholas chuckled, but his eyes followed Justin up the stairs, a flicker of something raw pride, maybe, laced with the ache of a father watching his boy slip away to college dreams in a few months. And then it was just us. The house settled around us like an old friend, creaking floorboards and the distant hum of the fridge. Nicholas poured us each a finger of bourbon from the sideboard, Maker's Mark, smooth as sin, and sank back into the armchair, the leather sighing under his weight. "So, Ethan," he started, swirling the amber liquid, "you sticking around Elmwood after graduation? Or you one of those dreamers headed for the city lights?" I shrugged, staring into my glass like it held the answers. "Art school's calling, maybe Chicago. Tired of this fishbowl." Truth was, Elmwood choked me. The same faces, the same judgments. I'd come out last summer at a bonfire party, drunk on cheap vodka, and while most folks shrugged it off with a live and let live, the undercurrent of stares lingered. Justin had my back. No question. He decked Tommy Riley for calling me a slur. But Nicholas? He just nodded when Justin told him, clapped a hand on my shoulder, and said, "World's full of assholes. Kid. Don't let 'em dim your light." It was the kind of quiet acceptance that burrowed deep, making me wonder what else lay beneath that steady gaze. We talked for what felt like hours, about the Chevy's finicky carburetor, the Eagles' shot at the playoffs, the way the lake shimmered at dawn when he fished alone. His voice wrapped around me like smoke, pulling confessions from my lips I hadn't planned. The loneliness of sketching nudes in secret, the fear that Chicago would chew me up and spit me out queer and broken. He listened, really listened, his knee brushing mine once, twice, accidental at first, then not. The bourbon warmed my veins, blurring edges, and when he reached out to steady my glass, his thumb grazing my knuckle, electricity arced between us, sharp as a live wire. That's when Justin's door clicked shut upstairs, sealing us in. Nicholas didn't pull away. His hand lingered, rough palm against my smoother skin, and the room tilted. "Ethan," he murmured, voice dropping to a whisper that scraped like sandpaper, "I've been watching you grow into this. Man. Strong. Beautiful. And it scares the shit out of me because, God help me, I feel things I shouldn't." My breath caught, the world narrowing to the heat of his touch, the vulnerability cracking his facade. This was Nicholas Harlan, the straight-arrow dad who'd raised a son solo, the guy who fixed neighbors' roofs for free and never missed a PTA meeting. Gay? Attracted to me? The thought was a grenade, exploding every boundary I'd built. Nicholas, but words failed, drowned in the tide of want crashing over me. He leaned in, close enough I could smell the bourbon on his breath, the faint tang of motor oil clinging to his skin. "Tell me to stop," he said, eyes searching mine, stormy with conflict. "Tell me I'm a fool, and I'll walk away. But if you don't..." Christ, Ethan, I've been alone so long. I didn't tell him to stop. Instead, my free hand found the nape of his neck, fingers threading through salt-streaked hair, and I pulled him closer. Our lips met, tentative at first, a brush of uncertainty, then hungry, desperate, like we'd both been starving in the same shadowed corner. His mouth was warm, tasting of oak and regret, his stubble rasping against my chin as he angled deeper, a low groan rumbling from his chest that vibrated through me. Hands roamed mine under his tank, tracing the ridges of scars from a lifetime of hard knocks. His cupping my jaw, thumb stroking my cheek with a tenderness that broke something open inside. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, the weight of what we'd done settling like fallout. "This is insane," I whispered, heart thundering. "Justin's upstairs." "You're his father," Nicholas finished, voice hoarse, pulling back just enough to search my face. "I know. Jesus, what am I doing?" But his hand stayed on my thigh, an anchor in the chaos, and in his eyes, I saw not just desire, but a man unraveling, threads of a hidden life pulling free. Upstairs, the floor creaked, Justin shifting in his sleep, oblivious. We froze, then laughed, a shaky sound that masked the panic. "Guest room," he said finally, standing on legs that didn't quite hold him. "Get some rest, kid. We'll figure this out tomorrow." He pressed a kiss to my forehead, soft as absolution, before vanishing down the hall to his own room. I lay awake in the dark, sheets tangled around me, replaying the taste of him, the way his body had yielded just a fraction under my touch. Dawn crept in through the blinds, painting stripes of gold across the quilt, and with it came the dread, what now? Justin would wake, clueless, and I'd have to face them both over coffee and eggs, pretending my world hadn't just tilted on its axis. But as the coffee pot gurgled to life downstairs, I heard Nicholas's voice, low and melodic, humming an old Springsteen tune. And despite the storm brewing, a reckless hope flickered. Maybe this was the start of something real, something that could weather the wreckage. Little did I know, the real tempest was just offshore, gathering force. Breakfast was a minefield of normalcy. Justin shoveling pancakes like a man possessed, syrup dripping from his fork as he rambled about tryouts for the community college team. "You gotta come watch. Ethan, Dad's coaching again this year. Says I'm finally bulking up enough to take a hit." Nicholas stood at the stove, flipping bacon with practiced flips, his back to us broad and unyielding, but I caught the tension in his shoulders, the way his jaw ticked when Justin mentioned the game. He slid plates our way without a word, his eyes meeting mine for a heartbeat, loaded with secrets before flicking away. "Thanks, Dad," Justin mumbled around a mouthful, oblivious as ever. I forced a smile, my own food turning to ash on my tongue, every bite a reminder of the night before, the heat of his mouth, the confession that had shattered the facade. How do you sit across from the man you've kissed, knowing his son, your best friend, is inches away, clueless to the betrayal blooming like kudzu? We escaped to the garage after, Justin dragging me to help with the Chevy's tune-up, tools clanging like accusations. "Pass the wrench," he said, sliding under the chassis on a creeper, his voice echoing from the oil-slicked concrete. I handed it over, my mind elsewhere, replaying Nicholas's groan, the way his fingers had dug into my hips like he was afraid I'd vanish. Guilt gnawed at me, sharp as a rusted bolt, but underneath it simmered something fiercer. Desire, raw and uncharted, pulling me toward the flame. Nicholas appeared in the doorway around noon, toolbox in hand, his flannel swapped for a clean Henley that hugged his frame just right. "Need a hand, boys?" His tone was casual, but his gaze lingered on me, a spark in the blue that made my pulse stutter. Justin waved him in, and soon we were a trio under the hood, father and son bantering over torque specs, me the silent third wheel, stealing glances at the flex of Nicholas's biceps as he torqued a bolt. By afternoon, Justin begged off for a nap. That beer last night, man, leaving me alone with Nicholas in the suddenly too small space. The air hummed with tension, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry hornets. He straightened, wiping his hands on a rag, and stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the heat radiating off him. "Ethan," he said, voice a rumble that vibrated through the concrete. "About last night, don't," I cut in, glancing toward the house, heart slamming against my ribs. "Not here. Justin could. He's out cold. And we need to talk." His hand found my arm, thumb circling a slow, deliberate path that sent shivers racing up my spine. "I haven't stopped thinking about you. The way you taste, the way you look at me like I'm more than this shell I've become." He swallowed hard, Adam's apple bobbing, vulnerability cracking his voice. "After the divorce, I buried it all, the wanting, the truth. Told myself it was for Justin, for the town. But you make me want to dig it up." I should have pulled away, recited the litany of reasons this was poison. The age gap yawning like a chasm, the betrayal that would gut Justin, the scandal that could torch Nicholas's life in this Bible Belt corner of Ohio. But instead, I leaned in, our breaths mingling in the charged space. "I feel it too," I admitted, the words tumbling free like a dam breaking. "But it's wrong. We're wrong." "Is it?" He cupped my face, calluses rough against my jaw, and kissed me. Slower this time, deliberate, like he was memorizing every angle. I melted into it, hands fisting his shirt, pulling him flush until the workbench dug into my back. His body was solid, unyielding, a map of muscle and scar I traced with desperate fingers, eliciting a hiss from him when I grazed a nipple through the fabric. We broke apart at the sound of tires on gravel. Justin's buddy from the team, swinging by for a pickup game. Nicholas stepped back, adjusting his shirt with hands that trembled slightly, his eyes dark with frustration. "Tonight," he murmured, low enough for only me. "After he's asleep. Back porch. Please." I nodded, dazed, as Justin bounded out, basketball under arm. The rest of the day blurred. Hoops in the driveway, sweat-soaked shirts and trash talk. Nicholas watching from the porch with a beer, his gaze a tether pulling me back every time I laughed too loud or spun a layup. Dinner was takeout pizza. The three of us sprawled in the living room watching Friday Night Lights, irony thick as the pepperoni, Justin's cheers drowning my racing thoughts. He crashed early again, claiming early shift, and I waited in the guest room, window cracked to catch the night's chill, every creak of the house a jolt. Midnight came, the moon a sliver through the oaks, and I slipped downstairs, bare feet silent on the stairs. Nicholas was there, silhouetted against the screen door, a shadow in jeans and no shirt, the porch light casting his skin in bronze. He turned at my approach, and without a word, pulled me into his arms. We didn't speak much that night, just touched, explored, the porch swing creaking under our weight as his hands mapped my body with reverent strokes. He was gentle, almost worshipful, whispering praises against my neck. "So beautiful, Ethan. So damn perfect," as if I'd unlocked some hidden door in him. I straddled his lap, grinding slow, feeling him harden beneath me, the friction building like a summer storm. When he finally slid inside, it was with a gasp that echoed my own, our rhythms syncing in a dance as old as longing, sweat slick and fervent under the stars. After, we lay tangled in the swing, his head on my chest, my fingers combing his hair. "I've never done this," he confessed into the dark, voice muffled. Not with a man. Not since. College. Maybe. Buried it deep. The admission hung heavy, laced with the pain of years denied. And I held him tighter, my own secrets spilling. The crushes on faceless boys in art class. The fear of never fitting in this straight-laced town. Dawn found us dozing, but reality crashed in with Justin's alarm blaring upstairs. Nicholas kissed me goodbye, a soft press to my temple, before vanishing inside, leaving me to feign sleep as Justin banged on my door. Rise and shine. Lazy ass. Dad's making omelets. Over breakfast. The charade held. Easy banter. Clinking forks, but under the table, Nicholas's foot nudged mine. A secret Morse code of promise. For a week, it was stolen moments. A hand on my lower back in the kitchen. A heated glance across the dinner table. Nights on the porch dissolving into passion that left us both marked and aching for more. But cracks formed. Justin noticed my distraction, ribbing me about moon eyes over some girl at school. Nicholas grew quieter, shadows under his eyes from wrestling demons I could only guess at. And then, the betrayal I dreaded loomed. A text from an old college buddy of his, unearthed from a forgotten drawer, hinting at a past Nicholas had glossed over, a brief, passionate affair cut short by fear and family duty. When Justin found it, rifling through garage junk for a socket set, he didn't say a word at first. Just stared at the faded photo. Nicholas, younger, arm around a broad-shouldered guy with a cocky grin, both shirtless on some fraternity beach. Dad, Justin's voice cracked when he confronted him that evening. Me frozen in the doorway, piecing together the storm. Nicholas's face drained of color. Son, it's not. Who the fuck is this? Justin thrust the photo forward, hurt twisting his features. And why is it hidden like some dirty secret? The air went still, the weight of unspoken truths crashing down. Nicholas glanced at me, panic flashing, then back to his son. Justin, listen. I need to tell you something. About me. About everything. My stomach plummeted. The secret was spilling, and I was the catalyst, the spark that would burn it all. Justin's face crumpled like wet paper, the photo fluttering to the linoleum as he backed away, eyes darting between his father and me like we'd morphed into strangers. You? He whispered, voice breaking on the syllable. Dad, you're gay. The word landed like a slap, raw and disbelieving, in the sterile light of the kitchen where we'd shared 1,000 mundane meals. Nicholas stood there, hands outstretched in supplication, his broad frame suddenly diminished. Justin, please. It's not that simple. I didn't know, hell, I didn't want to know for years. Your mom, the divorce. I thought burying it would keep us safe. His voice cracked, the unflappable Harlan patriarch fracturing before our eyes. I hovered in the threshold, invisible yet complicit, my throat tight with the urge to bolt or confess or both. Safe, Justin laughed, a bitter bark that echoed off the cabinets. From what? From you lying to my face every goddamn day. And Ethan, what the fuck? You knew. His gaze swung to me, accusation sharpening the hurt, and I flinched as if struck. No. Lies tangled on my tongue, half-formed excuses dying as Nicholas stepped forward, shielding me instinctively. It's on me, son. Not him. Ethan's. He's a good kid. Caught me off guard. Nicholas's hand trembled as he reached for Justin, but his son jerked back, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. Good kid? Jesus. Dad. He's my best friend. How long? How long have you been? Justin choked, tears streaking his cheeks, the quarterback facade crumbling to reveal the scared boy beneath. He stormed out, slamming the screen door so hard the frame rattled, his truck roaring to life in the driveway, tires spitting gravel like shrapnel. Silence swallowed the house, thick and accusatory. Nicholas sagged against the counter, burying his face in his hands, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. I crossed to him in 3 strides, wrapping my arms around his waist, pressing my cheek to his back. "I'm sorry," I murmured, the words inadequate against the wreckage. "This is my fault." He turned, pulling me close, his grip bruising as if I'd vanish. "No. It's mine. For hiding. For wanting." His lips found mine in a kiss that tasted of salt and despair, desperate to anchor us both. But even as I responded, the guilt coiled tighter. Justin's face haunted me, the betrayal I'd sown without a second thought. He didn't come home that night. Texts went unread, calls straight to voicemail. Nicholas paced like a caged lion, bourbon bottle his only companion, while I hovered, offering coffee he wouldn't drink, sketches I pulled from my bag to distract, abstract storms in charcoal that mirrored the one outside, rain lashing the windows like judgment. "He'll come around," I said, more plea than promise, curling into Nicholas's side on the couch, his arm heavy around me. But dawn brought no truck in the drive, just the milkman rattling bottles and the neighbor's dog barking at phantoms. By noon, Nicholas was a ghost of himself, calling Justin's phone until it died, then driving the back roads where kids dragged Maine for kicks. I tagged along, shotgun in the Chevy, the engine's growl underscoring our silence. We found him at the quarry, perched on the rusted tailgate of his truck, staring into the murky water below, a half-smoked joint pinched between fingers. "Dad," he said flatly as we approached, not looking up. "Ethan." "Great." "The happy couple." "Justin," Nicholas started, but his son cut him off with a glare. "Don't. Just don't pretend this is normal. My best friend and my dad's fucked, man. Fucked." He flicked the joint into the abyss, sparks trailing like falling stars. "And you, Ethan, you could have said something. Instead, you're sneaking around like some soap opera side piece." Shame burned my cheeks, but anger flared too, defensive, hot. "I didn't plan this. It just happened. Your dad, he's a good man, Justin. Better than this town deserves." "Yeah? Then why hide it? Why wait till now?" Justin's voice rose, cracking on the edges, fists clenched at his sides. "You think I don't get it? The lies? The fear? I see how folks look at you. Ethan," the whispers. "But this is personal. Your family." The word hung, a gut punch. Family. I'd always felt it with Justin, the late-night confessions, the shared dreams of escape. And now I'd torched it for a taste of something real, something that made Nicholas's eyes light up like bioluminescence in the dark. Nicholas knelt then, eye level with his son, rain matting his hair. "I was scared, Justin. Scared you'd hate me. Scared I'd lose you like I lost your mom." His voice broke, raw as an open wound. "But hiding it cost me anyway. I'm gay, son. Or bi, or whatever the hell label fits. And I love Ethan. Not just the thrill, But him, the way he sees the world, draws it out in colors I forgot existed. Justin stared, chest heaving, then deflated, shoulders slumping. I don't hate you, Dad. I just need time. This hurts. He glanced at me, the betrayal softening to something wounded but not irreparable. Stay away for a bit, Ethan. Please. I nodded, throat tight, and Nicholas pulled him into a hug, fierce, unyielding, that Justin resisted for a heartbeat before melting into, father and son clinging like survivors. I backed away, giving them space, the rain soaking through my hoodie as I walked the quarry's edge, heart aching with the cost of truth. That night, Nicholas came to my room, Justin's absence a cavern in the house. We made love slow, reverent, his body a map I navigated with care, kisses trailing apologies across skin. He'll forgive us, he whispered post-climax, our limbs entwined, sweat cooling in the draft. But doubt gnawed. Small towns like Elmwood didn't forgive easy, and the whispers were already starting. Tires on gravel at odd hours, curtains twitching. The next week was a tightrope, Justin crashing at a buddy's, terse texts checking in, Nicholas throwing himself into work, coming home exhausted but alive with a quiet resolve. We'd steal moments, a handjob in the shower, quick and frantic, a blowjob in the garage, my knees on the creeper as he gripped the workbench, moaning my name like prayer. But the high was laced with low, Justin's silence stretching, my own sketches turning dark, fractured lines of longing and loss. Then the bomb dropped. Tommy Riley, Justin's old teammate, the same asshole who'd slung slurs my way, cornered me at the gas station, smirking like he'd won the lottery. Heard about you and Harlan Sr. Sucking up to get that art scholarship? Fucking perv. He laughed, crude and cutting, but the damage was in the delivery, word was out, twisted into gossip that painted Nicholas as the predator, me as the easy mark. I raced home, bursting into the kitchen where Nicholas was chopping onions for chili, knife pausing mid-slice. It's out, I gasped, the words tumbling. Tommy knows. Everyone will. His face paled, knife clattering to the board. How? Doesn't matter. We have to tell Justin, before he hears it warped. But even as I said it, my phone buzzed. Justin's name. A single text. Heard the rumors. At the house. Now. We drove in silence, the Chevy's wipers slapping rhythmically against the downpour. Justin was in the living room when we arrived, face thunderous, a six-pack already half gone on the coffee table. Is it true? He demanded, eyes red-rimmed. You too. Together, while I was right upstairs, Nicholas sank onto the couch, head in hands. Yes. God, yes. And I'm sorry, for the hurt, for the lies. But not for loving him. Justin's gaze flicked to me, betrayal warring with something softer. Resignation, maybe. I want you out, Ethan. Both of you, figure this shit out away from here. I can't. I can't watch. The eviction stung, a knife twist in the gut. But Nicholas nodded, packing a duffel with quiet efficiency. We crashed at a motel on the edge of town, neon sign flickering vacancy like a bad omen, the room smelling of stale smoke and regret. That night, as thunder rolled, Nicholas held me, his body a bulwark against the storm. We'll make it, he vowed, fingers tracing my spine. For us. For him. But as lightning cracked the sky, I wondered if love could outrun the lightning rod we'd become. The motel room became our fragile bunker, walls thin as tissue, the hum of the ancient AC unit a constant underscore to our whispered plans. Nicholas spread job listings across the bedspread mechanic gigs in Cleveland, handyman posts in Toledo, while I fired off portfolio emails to galleries in Chicago, my laptop screen glowing like a lifeline in the dim. "We'll start fresh," he'd say, pulling me onto his lap during lulls, his hands steadying the tremor in mine. "No more hiding. Just you, me, and whatever comes." Sex was our rebellion those first nights, fierce, reclaiming, his body pinning mine to the sagging mattress as we drowned out the world's roar. He'd take me slow, eyes locked, murmuring endearments that chipped at my fears. My artist, my light. I'd ride him after, controlling the pace, drawing gasps from that stoic throat until he shattered beneath me, the vulnerability in his release a gift I hoarded. But dawn brought the reckoning. Justin's texts sporadic, laced with anger. "Don't call. Need space." And the town? Elmwood turned venomous overnight. Calls to Nicholas's shop drying up. Glares following me down aisles at the Piggly Wiggly. A week in, the climax hit like a freight train. I was sketching in the diner's booth, pancakes congealing, coffee bitter, when Tommy Riley sauntered in with his crew. Jocks turned townies, all beer guts and bravado. "Well, if it ain't Harlan's boy toy," Tommy sneered, sliding into the booth uninvited, his buddies snickering from the counter. "How's the sugar daddy treating ya? Learn any new tricks yet?" Heat flooded my face, fork clattering. "Fuck off, Tommy. Grow up." He leaned in, breath sour with last night's whiskey. "Nah. See, folks round here don't take kindly to pervs corrupting good men. Nicholas Harlan? Church deacon material. Till you spread those legs." His hand shot out, grabbing my wrist hard enough to bruise, twisting as laughter erupted. "Bet you begged for it, didn't ya, little queer slut?" Rage ignited, white hot. I swung with the sketchbook, edge cracking his cheek, blood welling instant. Chaos exploded, shouts, chairs toppling, Tommy lunging with a haymaker that grazed my jaw, splitting lip. I tasted copper, swung wild, connecting with his gut before the waitress's scream yanked the manager. Burly arms hauling us apart. "Out, both of ya!" I stumbled into the parking lot, rain-slick asphalt gleaming, adrenaline crashing into sobs as I dialed Nicholas. He arrived in the Chevy like an avenging angel, tires screeching, face a mask of fury as he spotted the swelling on my jaw. "Who?" he growled, but I just collapsed against him, the fight draining out in heaving breaths. "Tommy." He said things. The words choked, but Nicholas's arms tightened, guiding me to the truck. We drove to the quarry, the same haunted edge where Justin had unraveled, and there, under the weeping sky, Nicholas broke. "This is my fault," he roared to the void, fists pounding the dash until knuckles split. "I should have protected you. From him, from all of it." He turned to me, eyes wild, and kissed me bruising, teeth and desperation, tasting my blood mingled with rain. We fucked right there in the cab, urgent and animal, the truck rocking on its shocks as thunder applauded our defiance. His thrusts were punishing, then tender, a litany of mine and sorry gasped against my neck, my nails raking his back until we both cried out, spent and shattered. But release was fleeting. Back at the motel, a voicemail from Justin. Dad's blowing up my phone. Says you got jumped. I'm coming over. He arrived soaked, knocking tentative, and Nicholas let him in. The room shrinking with 3 bodies and too many ghosts. Dude, Justin said, eyeing my split lip, voice thick. You okay? No accusation. Just concern, the first crack in the ice. Yeah, I lied. Dabbing ice from the minibar. Nicholas hovered, offering beers that went unopened, the air thick with unspoken pleas. Justin sank onto the bed, rubbing his neck. Look, I talked to Mom. She knew that about the college thing. Said you were miserable hiding it. He glanced at me, hesitant. And Ethan, I get it now. The way you light up around him. It's real. Nicholas exhaled, a decade's weight lifting. Son, but it hurts. Justin cut in, eyes glistening. Knowing you two were. While I was blind. Feels like betrayal squared. He paused, swallowing hard. Tommy's full of shit. By the way. Whole team's backing you. Said if he starts more crap, he's off the rec league. Gratitude swelled, but Nicholas shook his head. Can't stay. Justin. Town's turning. We're heading to Chicago, Ethan's school. My skills. Mechanic shops everywhere. Justin's face fell, but he nodded. Slow. Then go. But. Call. And Ethan, don't ghost me. We're still brothers. The hug he pulled me into was fierce, backslapping and real, mending threads I'd feared severed. As he left, promising to pack Dad's tools, Nicholas and I stood in the doorway, watching taillights fade. Think he'll be okay? I whispered. Better than us. Probably. Nicholas's arm snaked around my waist, pulling me close. But we'll fight for this. All of it. Chicago glittered on the horizon, a promise of reinvention, but the road there was paved with pitfalls. Nicholas's truck broke down outside Toledo, carburetor finally giving up the ghost, and we spent 2 days in a roadside dive, him under the hood by day, me sketching passers-by, truckers with weary eyes, kids chasing fireflies at dusk. Nights blurred into passion, but doubt crept in, whispers of too old, too soon echoing in my head during quiet hours. Then betrayal struck its cruelest blow. A letter arrived at the motel P.O. box, forwarded from Elmwood, from Nicholas's ex, Justin's mom, Linda. Saw the news in the paper, your little scandal. Thought you should know. That college fling? He had a wife waiting. Left her broken, like you left me. Don't repeat history, Nick. Boys like Ethan deserve better than a midlife crisis. I found it crumpled in the trash. Nicholas's handwriting scrawled across. Burn this. It's lies. But the seed was planted, doubt festering as we rolled into the windy city, skyline piercing clouds like accusations. Our first apartment was a walk-up in Wicker Park, creaky floors, view of the L train rattling by, and for a week, it was bliss. Nicholas landing a gig at a vintage garage, me interning at a street art collective, evenings tangled in thrift store sheets, his laughter filling the space like sunlight. But the letter haunted, surfacing in arguments over nothing, burnt toast sparking. You think I'm just a phase? From him, my silence screaming insecurities. Climax brewed one stormy night, thunder echoing the L's rumble. When I confronted him, was it a crisis? Nick, am I just... Rebound. His face twisted, hurt flashing. Ethan, no, you're everything. But doubt lingered, and when Justin called, voice buoyant, town's cooling. Miss you both, it cracked the dam. Nicholas confessed the full past. The college lover, the shotgun wedding to Linda out of panic. Years of denial that poisoned his marriage. I was a coward, he admitted, tears carving tracks down his stubbled cheeks. But with you, I'm free. I forgave, or tried, sealing it with a kiss that turned frantic. Bodies slamming against the fire escape as rain lashed us, his cock driving deep in a rhythm of redemption. We came undone together, slick and sobbing, the city lights blurring below. Yet the humanistic thread wove deeper, volunteering at a queer youth center. Nicholas sharing his story with wide-eyed kids, me painting murals of fractured hearts mending. Justin visited once, awkward at first, then laughing over deep dish pizza. The three of us a makeshift family, scars and all. But betrayal's shadow loomed. Tommy, turned out, wasn't done. An anonymous post on the local Facebook group, dredging the scandal with doctored pics, reignited Elmwood's fury. Nicholas's old shop blacklisted him remotely, clients vanishing. We fight or flee? I asked, packing boxes as eviction loomed. Fight, he growled, pulling me close. For us, the fight came swift and merciless. Back in Elmwood for a tense family dinner, Justin's insistence, a bridge too vital to burn, we walked into the VFW hall ambush. Tommy and his posse waited in the parking lot, floodlights harsh on their faces, bats from the rec league clutched like talismans. Harlan, brought your bitch, Tommy jeered, stepping forward, the group a wall of sneer and spite. Nicholas shoved me behind him, stance wide, voice steel. Walk away, Riley. This ends now. But Tommy swung wild, that whistling air, glancing Nicholas's shoulder with a crack that echoed like gunshot. Pain flared in his eyes, but he charged, fists flying in a blur of pent-up rage, connecting with Tommy's jaw, sending him sprawling into gravel. Chaos erupted, shouts, scuffles, me grabbing a loose bat to parry a blow aimed at Nicholas's back, the wood vibrating up my arms. Justin burst from the hall, alerted by the din, barreling into the fray like a linebacker possessed, tackling one goon, roaring enough, as cop sirens wailed distant. Punches landed, blood on knuckles, split brows, but brotherhood won. Justin and I back to back with Nicholas, a triangle unbreakable, driving them off until blue lights flooded the lot. Handcuffs followed, assault charges all around, but in the cruiser, Nicholas squeezed my hand through the grate, whispering, worth it. His swollen eye twinkling with defiant fire. Justin, cuffed beside him, nodded, family sticks. Bail was posted by Dawn, Linda, of all people, stepping up with quiet grace, her face softened by time and truth. You deserved better, Nick, she said in the lobby, hugging him fierce. All of you. Charges dropped to misdemeanors, community service, anger management. But the town shifted, whispers turning to shrugs, some apologies trickling in, the VFW barring Tommy for life. We returned to Chicago lighter, the apartment now home, walls splashed with my murals, Nicholas's tools racked in the corner like talismans. He thrived at the garage, specializing in classics, his laugh booming over V8 roars. I sold my first piece at a Pilsen gallery, a triptych of us, shadowed confessions, stolen touches, defiant embraces. Justin visited monthly, train rides filled with ball games and bad movies. His own coming-out story unfolding slow, a crush on his roommate, nerves we coached him through over FaceTime. Betrayals echo faded, replaced by depth. Nicholas proposing on a snowy Grant Park night. Ring a simple silver band engraved with "No more hiding." Our kiss sealing vows under twinkling lights. The wedding was small rooftop in Logan Square. Justin best man. Linda matron of honor. A rainbow of friends toasting with craft IPAs. "To second chances," Nicholas said, voice thick, pulling me close as fireworks burst over the lake. Years wove us tighter, adopting a scrappy mutt named Harlan, fostering queer teens through the center. Nicholas's memoir self-published to quiet acclaim, Under the Hood, a mechanic's coming out. I taught workshops, colors bleeding stories of resilience. Justin graduated, moved nearby, his own romance blooming with a barista named Marco. Double dates awkward at first, then seamless, laughter bridging gaps. But humanism's core pulsed in the quiet. Nicholas's hand in mine during chemo waits, prostate scare at 55, beaten back but a reminder of fragility, or my panic attacks post-gallery show. Him grounding me with stories of Elmwood dawns. We fought, we forgave. Love wasn't flawless, but fierce, a bonfire against the dark. On our 10th anniversary, back at the quarry, reclaimed as pilgrimage, we stood with Justin and Marco, beers raised to the water's gleam. To the stunned silence that started it all, Nicholas toasted, arm around me, his blue eyes still piercing, now lined with joy. I leaned in, kissing him soft, the world vast and kind. And what followed, I murmured, was everything. In the end, it wasn't happily ever after. No tidy bow on chaos, but a life richly lived, scars badges of battles won. In America's heartland sprawl, two men and the son who chose them proved. Love betrays to rebuild, conflicts forge stronger bonds. And even in the stunned hush after thunder, beauty blooms.